If you're new to listening to the NutriMedical Report, this is like mixed mental martial arts. You're coming into a cage match. You can't crawl out the top. You can't say you can. If you have an opinion, it means you have evidence and logic, like an intel agent, or you've gone through hell because you've seen things like in the battlefield. But we're going to present information. In fact, we long before Fox or CNN or MSLSD said it, we talked about this guy Ciarmella, who actually is part of the international coup, and his attorney is now on the chopping block in 2017, Zaid, for making nasty comments about starting the coup, literally shortly after Donald Trump got elected, okay? So you got to understand what's going on here is obscene. In fact, I'll tell you, if I was advising Trump, I'd declare a state of national emergency, and these bastards would be in jail or before a military tribunal. It would not be funny. Trump is being too nice, to be honest with you, and right now he's actually losing the polls because the younger people, the millennials, are brainless. They want these communist socialists, Bernie Sanders Claus, I call him, the communists from hell, and liar Watha, Elizabeth Warren, who used to think that she had native blood in her. As Trump said, he's got more native blood in him, and he has none. So we've got a real nasty situation here. Then, of course, we're going to talk about other stories you have here. G. Edward Griffin, Why Not the Truth? And, of course, you've had G. Edward. I've had him on for years. He had done a lot of good things like The Creature from Jekyll Island, but a lot of stuff he doesn't want to talk about, just like a lot of people even in the so-called right. There's a lot of people on the right, even in Fox News, like whether it's Tucker Carlson. There's little red lines, like he cost one of them. We start talking about, aliens and UFOs. But when he starts talking about, Baghdadi, who was a canonized saint 2 centuries ago, or the fact that we created ISIS, and I have selfie pictures from intel agents, 2009 with John McInsane, the maniac who's now dead from a cell phone-induced multicentric astroglioma in his brain. This devil was there taking selfie pictures with ISIS because we created them. We created Al-Qaeda with the agent called Tim Osman, otherwise known as Osama bin Laden, who's the engineer that built the largest airbase in the world outside of U.S. air bases north of Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, at a cost of $55 billion with a B dollars. People say, how do you know all that stuff? I said, I've gone through living hell, having a security clearance and knowing stuff that tell me bad stuff that cross-corroborates and tell you that America does good in the world, but they do more evil than anybody else, right up there with the British. And you got to understand there's a lot of people even on the right that are not good. For example, this guy is going to try to run for the Senate race. So I don't even want to mention his name because it ticks me off. Then he recused himself from the Russiagate situation. Remember that? The Attorney General. This monster is wanting to get Donald Trump's endorsement. Are you crazy? He should endorse Roy Moore, who's actually at least pro-life. Donald Trump should not endorse this previous guy, Sessions. This guy allowed the situation to proceed to actually cause Trump to lose the midterm elections. So we have, Nancy Pelosi. I've changed her name, by the way. She's lousy. Lousy was what they would call intellectual lice. She's demonically energized. And by the way, I have very good evidence that she's involved with Pizzagate, which is pedophilia and Satanism. And then we got Adam Schiff, this guy with the bug eyes. This guy is he couldn't tell a lie if his life depended on it. He'd tell the truth. Everything that comes out of his mouth, if it passes his vocal cords, it's a lie. And then we got Nadler. This guy doesn't look very healthy. He's not long for this world, and he's there like, I'm going to die, but I'm going to lie all the way to my grave. Trying to get Trump. And Trump's not perfect, man. The man is a narcissist, but he's the best we got. And if we can talk to them, we can make him the best president ever. But he's screwing up on a few things. He screwed up with the Kurds. We got more evidence on that. He screwed up on 5G network. He's screwing up on GMO foods. He's screwing up on fracking in Northern California. That's going to cause big earthquakes. Because he's got bad advisors. He runs the U.S. government as a president like a game show host. And the fourth contestant has an argument that looks pretty good, so Trump goes with it. Unfortunately, that's true. Now, I'm not against him tweeting, because you should counterpunch when people punch you. But he shouldn't counterpunch over minor stuff that really shouldn't even be getting the public area, like when his father a year ago complained that his kids didn't get a free ride back on the Air Force One. I don't think Trump should have made anything of it. He should have just ignored it. And then when I hear people getting offended because Trump, he's not a racist. One thing you can say about Trump, no matter what, he's the most non-racist guy ever to occupy the White House. Look at Barack Obama. He tried to engender balkanization and racism. Look at George Bush. All these monsters in the past were all racist, right back to the guy that replaced John F. Kennedy back in the 60s. So we've got some stories here. Let's start off with G. Edward Griffin, right? And I know you had a falling out with G. Edward because he did some great things, but then he won't go further, will he? There's some red lines that this man will not cross now, right? What is it?
Well, he actually tried to propose to go further, to really get active, around the world with his Freedom Force. It's not supposed to be national, although, that's certainly its base.
Right.
But he formed it about 5 years ago, and I was at the founding meeting, and I got elected to be, one of the advisors. But in talking at a dinner table with somebody, they were surprised that Ronald Reagan was on the other side, that he sent, his first year he was sending steel plants to Red China. He had, secret society handlers, was a member of the United World Federalists for 13 years, promoted Red China through the Democratic Committee for a Far Eastern Policy, and then when he was president, gave him Most Favored Nation treaty status, recognized the Khmer Rouge. Anyway, I could go on for a couple of hours. But G. Edward Griffin didn't apparently, I was just, after communicating with him, that I wanted to get information to that particular person about Reagan. And another question or two within 8 or 10 months. He, like many others, tried to... I was dropped out of the circle with... Let me clear my throat.
He tried to defend Reagan as being a so-called conservative. Reagan wasn't a conservative. Reagan was a geopolitical globalist with bad global connections, just like Barack Obama. In fact, we have very good evidence Barack Obama actually was funding Wahhabism through his functionary sources in Saudi Arabia. That's why he gave him $150 billion to the Iranians. It's like, are you kidding me? And transfer not only weapons and technology. People don't understand this, do they?
No. Well, I've sold cases of Ed Griffin's. One of his first books was A Fearful Master on the United Nations, and it's terrific. When his Creature from Jekyll Island came out, it was good. But what it was lacking.
Well, why do you think he pulled back? Because I'll tell you what my theory is. And I learned this from my guys in Delta Force and Special Op, because although I haven't been in the military, I took care of them for 4 decades. I learned a really important lesson. This applies to Christianity too, or succeeding in anything. Unless you're willing to die for the truth and you're super prepped, it's like an athlete preparing so much. If you're going to run a 20-mile race, you got to be able to run a 40-mile race faster than anybody else. So when you get in the 20-mile race, you win. You got to be willing to die for the truth, or you're not going to survive the danger. And if you're fearful of the combat, you're probably not going to make it. You have to be so prepared your fear leaves your body. They say, when I talk to my guys in Delta Force, you can be fearful, but when you're prepped to a certain point, your body the fear just leaves you. And people need to understand that. And that's where, for example, when you serve God, you have to be ready to die for the truth to survive the battle. And, I have a feeling there's a lot of people who even start doing stuff and they go, oh, I could get killed. I could get disabled. I could end up going blind. They could torture my family. If you want your family to survive, you got to be like triple Delta Force, alpha male or female. And by the way, females are alpha too. My wife, Michelle, is a Viking, and the Vikings, by the way, are proving that they're warriors as well. Women make great warriors.
I wouldn't mind Ed Griffin, going and doing going about what he does. We all have critics of each other, how we can do things better. But he made a real effort to get people involved in politics. And after his presentation about lawn signs and bumper stickers, when we know, as we see today, I kept saying, no, it's an intelligence operation. I know about it. I've been around it for 50 years. And again, that information was spiked to his members. He made it, most of the emphasis was on, the libertarian approach, or Ludwig von Mises. I guess he's one of the few people that read the couple thousand pages that's in it, who is a brilliant person. But he was brilliant, and he was captured. He was brought over from Europe by the Rockefeller Foundation and put in a New York university. And he was brilliant. And if anybody understands this stuff, they'll understand how valuable the free market is. But I found an article here dated 1988, and it says, "The Sad Legacy of Ronald Reagan," who Ed Griffin continues to, defend. And here is the Ludwig von Mises Institute calling out President Reagan on his appointments, on his intervention in the economy, how free spending he was, more than Carter,
right.
How there's a 60% increase in government spending. The Department of Education and Energy still existed, and it doubled in price rather than getting rid of it as he promised. I mean, I don't know how he's been able to hide behind people that just don't have the information. And of course, I didn't have this information about.
Well, they didn't have the desire to know it either. See, the average person doesn't really think. They're told in school, for example. I remember back, I started to realize that I was not like the other students, even in grade 1. And I remember Sister Marie Blackie, my grade 1 teacher at private Catholic school in Toronto, Nova Scotia. She said, "Now, you took little bodies as angels and you came down to earth." And I said, "Sister Marie Blackie, what you told the kids is a figment of your productive imagination." Now, I'm in grade 1, okay, so I'm saying this to her. And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're full of rope." I said, "What do you mean by rope?" I said, "When you go to the bathroom and you go to the toilet, it looks like rope." I said, "Get out in the hall, Billy Deagle." So she strapped me, and she said, after she saw my wrist were turning red, I was going to bleed, and she's there huffing and puffing and getting tired. And I said, "Is that enough, Billy Deagle?" I said, "I don't know. Are you tired yet?" And she remembered that in 1976 when she came to the Halifax Infirmary Hospital, and she had quit the nunnery, had by this time 5 kids, but her abdomen was hot with peritonitis. So I examined her, and she had a ruptured diverticuli, and she had abdominal peritonitis. She was going to die. So I did surgery with her. I was a surgeon that day. We saved her life by cutting out a section of her bowel and putting her on IV antibiotics. And she said, "I remember you, Billy Deagle. When I saw the movie about Jamie and Thor and the Antichrist, I remembered you." I said, "I'm not the Antichrist, but I have a backbone." And she said, "I've never met anybody like you." And said, "You people out there listening, you never will. I'm the ancient descendant of Moses. Moses had a backbone. You come back to the Pharaoh and tell the Pharaoh what for. I need to tell Donald J. Trump, as arrogant as he is and intelligent as he is, because he's great at business, he needs to tell what for, not to be kind of discipline him and be cruel, but to witness to him, to give him wisdom. He needs to know so he operates as the best president ever. If he doesn't, he's going to screw up and invite destruction to America. In fact, what he's done right now with the Kurds, what all these authors, including Edward Griffin and a lot of the people out there, and I'm going to give you a list of a few of them. For example, Alex Jones. When I went to, in February of 2005, invited by Stan Johnson, was invited to actually start over there at the Genesis Network. In 2007, because I wanted to get more airtime, I went over to Republic Radio, and they were giving me 2 hours a day. And I said, well, because you didn't have enough time at Genesis. And so Alex Jones calls me in January, and he says, "Deagle, if you want to come back, I'll give you as much time as you want. Right after my show, I'll bring on regularly every month on expertise in areas where you cover." Now, he knew I was expert because I had above top secret clearance in U.S. on many classified projects, and also a background in science for everything from Missile Defense Command to biological weapons and everything. In fact, in 2007, I was a point man for the federal government, for FEMA and the FBI, for Operation Top Off and Dark Winter for the federal government with FEMA and the CDC and the FBI director. I was a national point man. So I presented my information, and he got really ticked because I told him, "Your physicist is an idiot, this guy Jones." He told his staff that I was like a sexual predator. I shouldn't call him. I'm not going to do any more shows with Deagle because he disagreed with me. I said, "Look, don't disagree with me unless you have evidence. If you do and you can prove it, I don't care if you got grades, so you don't have to have PhDs. If you've got experience and time and so on, and you can convince me, I'm teachable. But if you just have an attitude or say who do you think you are, Deagle, and you won't say that, you ask for a battle and you're going to get one." And believe me, I got a long list of what I call hosts on different networks that we are not singing on the same level because of, I call as Lucille Ball said, they're jealous. They don't want to deal with the truth. I do.
Now the people go to News-Expose.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great-tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great-tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Legacy Emergency Foods is the top recommendation from Dr. Bill Deagle for the lowest oxygen concentration, the largest entrees, the highest amount of protein, the most varied entrees as well, and the longest food storage life. Nothing like Legacy Emergency Foods, and if you place a regular monthly order, you get 20% off and free shipping. Do get emergency foods for your supply for preparation and get it from Legacy Foods. Contact Dr. Bill Deagle for the link at NutriMedical.com. Go to the Shop by Products link and drop down message at NutriMedical.com and then place your orders for regular emergency food for yourself and your family. Nothing like emergency food if the power goes out and you can't go to grocery stores or if there's an emergency or a national crisis. So NutriMedical.com, top recommendation, Legacy Foods. NutriMedical.com, go to the Shop by Products and drop down menu and stay well with NutriMedical every day of your life. Lumen photon therapy, infrared light, far and near infrared, is extremely important for pain control, stimulation of nitric oxide, improved perfusion, and stem cell activation and reduction of cytokines. Dr. Bill uses it for pain control, for regeneration techniques, for organ regeneration, and for stimulation of your stem cell activity. This amazing lumen photon therapy this year will probably have an additional device with frequency therapy during the on phase of the lights. To obtain a lumen photon machine, contact Dr. Bill at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. He'll prescribe it with you providing nutraceuticals to help with your regeneration, healing, and pain control. Nothing like the lumen photon therapy for easy therapy for your eyes, your pain, your joints, regeneration of organs, detoxification of the body. Get a lumen photon machine from Dr. Bill Deagle, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well with NutriMedical. The Sonic Life Machine is one of the most amazing therapies that Dr. Bill provides. It is the best sine wave exercise machine on the planet, doing whole body vibration, opening up the muscle to reduce insulin resistance, improve perfusion, release stem cell therapy throughout the body, and epigenetically stimulate the body to release DNA activated. The epigenetic therapy with the sine wave curve of frequencies given for atomic resonance, but Linus Pauling for minerals and amino acids stimulates the production of messenger RNA to correct structural protein enzyme deficiency for almost every illness. There's nothing like the sine wave therapy for improving body healing for exercise, but also the epigenetic treatments Dr. Bill can provide can help neutralize frequencies for disease states and illness. Get a Sonic Life machine through Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com. Contact us at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871, or go to the website NutriMedical and give us a contact. Dr. Bill is available to help you get well with NutriMedical.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer and vascular inflammation and plaque and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report on the Genesis Radio Network with open lines every weekday. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
After a while, people took Moses seriously, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah. Let's continue. So we dealt with Ed Griffin and all the phonies out there. I would say about 98% of even the people in alternative media have what I've anywhere from probably 50 to 70% truth. And even when they do stuff that looks good or Christianese or they're patriotic, they're terrified of going across the little red lines they think are going to put their family or themselves in danger. If you're not willing to go all the way and die, you're not going to make it, okay? And I have people that call me. In fact, I talked to a guy yesterday, and he gave me some intel information that's pretty corroborates what else I know. But he doesn't want to come on here. He doesn't want anybody to know his name. He doesn't want to even call in, probably somebody even do a voice analysis of his. I said he's an idiot. Because if the NSA wanted to get his carcass, especially if he's anonymous, they're going to kill his anonymous butt, aren't they? Someone like
the
me
hardest
got a
thing
great
about
big mouth.
Ed Griffin is he's twisted the truth of even his so-called heroes like Ludwig von Mises. And let me read the conclusion of Ronald Reagan, which they say, which is, Ed Griffin has been protecting for some reason or other. And it says, a Reagan legacy, he was to be the man to turn things around, but he didn't even try. And that's, people can see this newsletter from the von Mises monthly publication from 1980, right. October 1988. So they don't have to guess. And then my other concern about his Creature from Jekyll Island. They're secret societies, one Skull and Bones and the other Parashim, that were instrumental. In fact, one Skull and Bones member was a member of the Federal Reserve Board from the Depression, starting in 1929 till the beginning of World War II in 1941. How can you not give that information out to your readers after publication and republication? Don't you do updates or keep current? I mean, there's no excuse for him to ignore such basic things that rule us today. So anyway, it's
what I think is we're going to clear house now. Okay. Now, I've contacted all the people on Gen 6 conference. Some of them said some cool things. They showed pictures of previous UFO things. They talked about the aliens. But, they don't go all the way, for example. And here's all the way. Number one, when Jesus crossed the lake of Gennesaret, or the Lake of Galilee, and cast out the demons from the demoniac, people say they believe everything about the Bible. This is an action of Jesus, the Father in the flesh, Yeshua. His name is, by the way, not Jesus. I call it Zeus. His name is Yahashua HaMashiach, which means the breath of the Father incarnated in flesh. There's not three gods, there's one. Jesus is actually the Father that incarnated in physical flesh. Okay? And there's not a separate spirit called the Holy Spirit. That's bull. There's one God, and it's right on your mezuzah if you're a Jew. Right in 1 Chronicles, okay? So here's what we have to understand. He's casting out devils. Our leaders in our world are demonically avatared like a video game by transdimensional entities that are exoplanetary and transdimensional. And the primary of these monsters are the amphibious serpent gods called the Druids, the Naga of Oceania, and the Dagon of Palestine. In fact, when Jonah was cast on the beach before the city of Nineveh in Syria, they were worshiping the god Dagon, this amphibious reptilian god. Guess what? The hats on the Vatican, the mitres on their head, are actually fish hats, aimed toward the sky, because they believe in the sky gods are the lead of all these alien beings that are literally avataring our world, or even, grabbing women and doing reproductive genetic hybridization, all this other crap. This is not imaginary. I had so many people bringing me chips that were extracted from their body, that physically bringing them in test tubes and everything. At the conferences, I traveled to 42 cities in Israel, I'd say, please stop bringing your surgical chips removed from your body, because I had surgeons around the world that were doing it and bringing them to me. I said, please stop. I already know I believe you, okay? It's in a picture. I believe you. You got a chip out of you from. These are alien chips put in these people. Okay. And people say, well, what do you know? I said, I don't know some of it. I know everything. Our leaders, for example, are being primarily avatared. They're people of clay and iron. That's the name of my ministry. By transdimensional exoplanetary evil. And there's all kinds of other affiliate beings that are involved, and many of them even live underground in America and around the world. And they're run by the United Nations. You know, the United Nations has an underground mock-up like the UN Central Chambers. And there's not only humans, but alien beings down there. You know who told me? Phil Schneider and John Fiala, his cohort that worked with Bechtel Corporation building the underground cities and tunneling. How do you know this stuff? I said firsthand. I work with Space Command. I know what the hell's going on. People say, no, Dr. Daigle. I said, you know, this is so weird. If I actually wrote a script, it would be so weird. The movie producers say, I don't want the script. I want the drug you took to get the script. You need to know, things are so weird. I call them pie-banging-sized lies. It looks like lies, but they're not. It's the truth. The devil and his minions are coming back to Earth, and they're trying to abort the human race. They're reducing the IQ, the fertility, the sexuality of the population. They're proliferating weapons all over the damn place. You know, America gave targeting technology to the Chinese and Russians in the Bill Clinton administration in 1999 through Lockheed Martin and or Sputnik. Did you know that we gave nuclear centrifuges of material we got from Nazi Germany to the Russians so they'd start having nukes? We did it on purpose. Do you know that we transferred not only to Ukraine, not only these tank-killing weapons, we also transferred other things.
Yeah, well, Major Racy Jordan, he ended up retiring, I think, up here in Scotts Valley. And, of course, he was the one that documented the uranium that was being shipped.
Did you know that Iran didn't just get a deal when they passed this, you know, Uranium One deal that was given to the Russians? You know we actually transferred nuclear and other advanced weapons to the Iranians? We actually built Al-Qaeda with Tim Osman, that's his CIA name, who was recruited on the streets of Baghdad, streets of Saudi Arabia, who was Osama bin Laden. We recruited Saddam Hussein by George Bush Sr. in the Ba'ath Party in the streets in Iraq. You know, we have, you know, this guy Baghdadi is a phony name from a guy who was an actor that's Israeli that worked with the Israeli and the Saudi Arabian security forces, running and actually managing ISIS for us. That's why we took out their ISIS directors and instead of killing them. And our troops were in a state of shock the last year or so, like, hey, how come we didn't kill these guys? We flew them out in helicopters, and our own troops are freaking out, wondering, what the hell? We're about to kill these buggers, and instead we flew them out to safety.
No, the conspiracy perfected this formula a long time ago, and so well that Dr. Anthony Sutton showed how World War I and World War II were totally crafted to create the foundation of the world government, be it the League of Nations or the
even the bankers, for example, George Bush Sr.'s father actually was American banks helped to fund Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was a high priest of an occultic order called the Thule Society. It was channeling transdimensional entities to make anti-gravitonics and even missiles and space technology.
Right, and then you've got Prescott Bush and Averell Harriman, the godfather of the Democratic Party, both members of Skull and Bones. So, yeah, this networking continues. What I like is a recent expose that Veritas has done, bringing out Amy Robach, saying she had the full story about Epstein. And you'll notice on the second page...
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? And she's pretty ticked off about what they did, because this woman actually had some guts to tell the truth about the fact they suppressed the story.
She did the full independent story. She had witnesses. She had people who would come forth, the whole thing. And you'll see on that second page a picture of Bob Iger, who is the ABC chairman and the head of Disney, with his arm around Weinstein.
Right.
So, and then it turns out, you know, you've got him. She made him eat. He made her eat crow and back off it, like, you know, she was feeling bad that weekend. But the dice, there's a hyperlink on there that you'll see that he really goes into detail. It turns out that the attorney for this whistleblower, who's Eric Claramia, his name is Mark Zad. You go to Mark Zad's Twitters and so forth and Facebook, and he's got his favorites as Disney children, little girls. are part of his website that is now down.
He's a pervert.
And you see the same person, the person that was Jeffrey Epstein's procurer for girls and interns. There's a picture of Bill Clinton and his daughter Chelsea, and Ghislaine Maxwell is standing right there in the reception line. This is all tied so damn tight with all their perversion and pedophilia and deep state.
Let me explain what they're doing, okay? And this is on the astral realm, okay? Because I'm going to give people an education of the things they don't know. We're living in what's called the holographic entropic realm of time-space. Above us is a realm called the negentropic realm of consciousness and thought. And that's actually the place of residing of the god of the prince of the power of the air, Satan, who's the most intelligent created being in history in all time. Now, you got to understand, God is infinitely more intelligent than Satan, and Satan was cast out of the third heaven, which is eternity. He doesn't exist in eternity. He exists in what's the existence of the realm of consciousness or the soul or spirit. And what people have to understand, the chief of the angelic orders that actually are subjugating the earth are called incubi. Now, if you read it in 1535, Book of Demonology by James Weir, which was published in 1535 in Britain, you have to understand that the incubi are sexual warrior demons, and they gather the ectoplasm from child sacrifice and abortion. It's actually like a currency in the astral realm. In other words, killing babies is, you see, if you want to just control pregnancy, you put a valve in and turn it off and you couldn't get pregnant. They don't want that. They want human sacrifice. Okay? That's why, since Roe versus Wade, we didn't just have so many millions here in America. We funded or internationally influenced, so there's 1.5 billion less human beings than basically 45 years ago when Roe versus Wade was put through. This is all by design. This is on purpose. And people say, oh, no, that's not happening. I said, you have to understand the currency of the hellish regime of the negentropic realm of Satan. And what you have to understand is when you cross the looking glass from the entropic to the negentropic world, reverse speech. So when you pray, that's why you can take the statements of people, like, for example, when Barack Obama would say, yes, we can, yes, we can. If you actually play the reverse speech, you know what it says? Thank you, Satan. Thank you, Satan. Thank you, Satan. Over and over again. You're kidding. And they've even done a reverse movements now. They actually do reverse video and show you that people's body language actually does reverse because your spirit is speaking in reverse the truth. And you can't lie, by the way. It's like that movie with that Canadian actor. You can't lie when you're doing reverse speech, whether you're good or bad. So when you pray, and I'm working on this thing called a prayer wheel to multiply people's prayers billions of times, trillions of times. When you pray, your spirit is speaking in reverse speech to the realm of consciousness, and God is watching that, and it's spreading through the realm of consciousness to other spirit beings, which you can't be consciously aware unless you have received what's called the gifts of second sight and second hearing. Now, I've died multiple times or near death, so I have that gift. A lot of people that had near-death experiences, they're transformed. They're not the same, just like Cody Snodgrass and even Frank Gregory Ford. All three of us have had near-death experiences, and when you've had them, you're transformed. You've had a little glimpse of eternity. It makes you different. And what people don't understand is, if you don't understand the currency of good and evil in our world, and the people that are ruling over us, which are our brothers and sisters indwelt by transdimensional entities, you'll never figure it out. It says in Thessalonians, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, smart and ugly people and greedy people, but against principalities and powerness and wickedness in high places. Grasp it, people. Unless you hear what I'm saying and you listen to your dumb pastor or person who doesn't want to understand prophecy, 1/3 of the entire Bible. I tasked the North Coast Church here that has about 18 campuses and over 40,000 people about a couple of years ago, because I went there occasionally for different things. And you guys
Bob Iger, Bob Iger too has a program on how to teach kids to be good global citizens.
Oh my!
And you go
Isn't that gross?
I've got a couple of pages there with item after item where they have pedophiles continuing to work with Disney, members of the cast, the various things in Orlando and all these other places.
Well, you have to understand. Do you remember the Montauk Project?
Yeah.
It's tied directly to Disney. It's one of the reasons why Disney started to kind of balk from it, and they gave him cancer and killed him. Disney's dead a long time, isn't he? They call it Disney Corporation, but Disney's long gone.
Yeah, no, it's all propaganda. It's a recruiting ground. Here you got the CIA head, Mark Zad, with all his Disney children.
That's why a lot of these singers and media experts call Hollywood, where Hollywood is based on the idea of the holly berry, which is a false blood secondary. Use holly berry for blood.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, the same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the regeneration of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. At NutriMedical.com, we have the most amazing drinks with the best mouthfeel, highest quality bionutrient exposure to your body to heal and regenerate, and the most powerful persistence of nutrients to heal your body dramatically. We have Ageless, which makes you age less, which repairs your DNA, extends your telomeres, etc. We have Life Support that detoxes phase 2 detox pathways, glucuronidation, sulfation, and methylation pathway support. We have Glycemics that blocks the carbohydrate absorption and helps with diabetes or weight loss, and as well helps with people that are trying to build up muscle, using things like our special formulas from Dr. Wolf called Mega Muscles between meals along with Sports Energy Light. We have the amazing Nutri-Complete, the most complete red and greens drink in the world, with the best mouthfeel and flavor. You can often mix it too with Vitamin Mineral Mix, which is our fruit-flavored mixed power of vitamin minerals. Stay well with NutriMedical every day. I remember when I lost my mind. And welcome back. We got some nice links here with Mark S. Zaid, Z-A-I-D. What we have to understand, we need to pray for these people. I'll tell you one that I learned, an important lesson from Psalms from the Lord. Part of the reason is we lack asking the willingness to ask truth and really see where these people are coming from, because they're basically like an avatar video game of an incubi, a sexual warrior demon of Satan. And they're not just autonomous human beings that are making bad decisions, because they're sexual perverts or greedy. They're not in control of their own faculties. They've been given over to drugs, sexual perversion, and demonic possession, or oppression, one or the other. And you have to understand, when I see this guy, Mark, saying, now look at this guy's face. This guy is being avatared. He's being, like that movie Avatar. Remember that one that came out? And I look at the list of things you have here. Worked for the DNC operative, Alexandria Chalupa, in creation of the Trump-Russia collusion hoax. Fired from the National Security Council in 2017 for leaks and returned to the CIA. Worked directly under James Clapper. Ooh. Worked as a travel with Joe Biden. Ooh.
I mean, here's a whistleblower that worked.
Yeah, served in the Obama administration.
He's a whistleblower.
Obama, and here's
the billions.
Yeah, exactly. Then we worked with John Brennan. Brennan, by the way, people may not know this, is a sour look on his face. When he was in duty many years ago in Saudi Arabia, he converted to Islam. He's a friggin' high-level Mason. And by the way, did you know that Barack Obama and Brennan collaborated to spread Wahhabism around the world and used Saudi money to spread Wahhabism? And gave all kinds of weapons to Saudi Arabia. You don't realize what they got. Do you know that I had my contacts in Israel that almost 30 years ago, the Saudi Arabian government asked the U.S. government to give them nuclear weapons. And they wouldn't. So you know what they got? They got CC-3 missiles from China. Did you know that? I got all the intel. People, how do you know all this stuff? I said, I got contacts, man, and God gives me supernatural knowledge on top of it. And it all collaborates. What you have to understand
remember on a program, it's got to be over a year ago, I talked about the Obama being brought up in Indonesia, and he was dating the daughter of Philip Jessup's stepdaughter.
Right.
Philip Jessup was the one that ran the Institute for Pacific Relations, called a tool of the Soviet Union, and it was the one responsible for making sure Mao had won during their civil war.
Right.
I mean, these people, and again, it was chock full of...
Their entire life is a fraud. I mean, they're fraud masters. I mean, he was written up and literally controlled by other people. For example, Zbigniew Brzezinski, obviously, Zbigniew was the father of Mika Brzezinski in the media. And these people are all completely bought and paid for, demonically energized, avatared shells of a human carcass run by the devil and his minions. People, no, Dr. Deagle. I said, this isn't open your damn opinion. As I said before, and people find this offensive, but it's too damn tough on them. God's given me both natural and supernatural gifts to know the truth and then to tell you it. And it all fits with the Bible. It's nothing new. Everything I say, it fits exactly with the Old Testament, New Testament. It's all right there, right laid out in front of you.
Yeah, so much of this is an oligarchy, and they're related. They do chip in a few recruits from time to time, and they come up as the red diaper babies that we see happening in our
red
community.
Diaper, and even people have to understand that the globalists are not just on the left; they're on the right too, and they have their own thing, like lightning bolt. I call him Bolton, or even Mike Pompeo, who tries to act like he's a little bit more negotiable. People have to understand that part of the reason why Trump is so stupid is the people around him are shielding him. We've been trying for 2 years to get through the man on missile defense, on the weapons in La Rochelle Island and Punta Huerte, on Halifax healthcare and other things, like, for example, the drug cartels. You wonder why so many Americans are dying now? They're dying because they're poisoned by drugs. They're getting across here from China and Central and South America because the SAD, Special Activity Division of the CIA, gets $2 trillion a year from their cut of drugs from the drug cartels in Mexico, Central America, Afghanistan, and the Golden Triangle in Asia. Our SAD runs the drug cartel and the organ trade and the human trade in the world. So when you got people
they've written about their plans, and it's been clear from Philip
for example, the former director
House to Brzezinski, like you said, between two ages, from the report from Iron Mountain. And by the way, last week when you had Deborah Tavares on, I was at the Santa Cruz Board of Supervisors this last Tuesday, and sure enough, somebody came up to the pedestal or the stand there during oral communications and advocated tearing out the gas lines to the city, as Deborah reported that some cities in Northern California are being subsidized to tear out natural gas, the cheapest and most abundant form of energy we have besides coal.
Right. And that's because they want to starve us out, freeze us out, and they want to depopulate the rural areas and the coastal areas, and they want us to die in civil detention camps or be beheaded. People, oh no, Dr. Deagle. I said, I remember the book by the Gulag Archipelago. Remember that, written by the former Russian?
Yes.
And he said basically one of his statements: if we had known where we were going when we went to the Gulag in Siberia, we would have attacked them with screwdrivers and hose and other things in the apartment buildings and stairwells, and they wouldn't dare send anybody else because we would mutilate them to death.
Exactly. That's what Solzhenitsyn promised or wished that he had done. If they'd have, been at the stairwell with the pitchfork, that it might not have happened.
Whether it's the International Court of Justice, federal or state court, or a personal attack on me, you're facing annihilation. And if I think there's enough risk, I'm going to release in the next few months. I'm going to release scalar technologies. You can build these weapons, and these are going to be firstly non-lethal, and eventually I'm going to release weapons a hell of a lot more dangerous than anything the military or the police or special forces has. So if you want to start taking our guns and swallow these other morons in the Democratic Party, or people like Beto O'Rourke, I'm coming for your AR. Yeah, you come for my AR. I'll give you back a bullet at a time, or I'll give you a scalar weapon. You'll start dissolving and melting 1,000 feet away, not even understanding what the hell's happening while you're seizuring and dropping to the ground unconscious. We're not going to put up with it. We're not. If you think you're going to shove us off to civil detention to be executed, long before you ever get there, we're going to take you out. So don't think you're going to rule over us because you're the elected officials. You're our servants. You're not our dictators. That's why they had the French Revolution. Eventually, the French got so tired they executed the so-called royals. And it's not just the marching of the Bastille coming again, because these globalist maniacs are going to have what's called a rapture. You know what the rapture is? If you read your Aramaic Bible, it's taking out evil, not good. A lot of these evil doers are going to be executed. They're not going to make it.
We sure have way too many Christians to think that they're going to be elevated above all this, and all they need to do is show up every Sunday and not have to fight because God's going to take them to heaven.
Yeah. They're Christianese, okay? Let me tell you. You morons that think that you're going to get raptured out of here when all hell is break loose. Do you think you're better than the early Christians that died at the jaws of a wild animal in a Circus Maximus in Rome? No, you're not. You need to understand God's going to take evil out so good people survive and the earth becomes like the Garden of Eden again. He's not going to take us off to heaven and say, oh, don't look down there, it's awful ugly. No, he's going to take out evil. All right? Get the message. This lie is pushed by the liocracy and the fancy lying churches, the Roman Catholic, Druidic church, and the so-called lying and so-called Christian churches. They're not Christian. Even the name Jesus is a mutation. The real name is Yahashua HaMashiach. In other words, he is God incarnate, in the breath of God in physical flesh, that has come here to make a pathway back to grace, which is to hear and do his will, Shema. If you don't do God's will,
have done. The first Communist Front was Methodist for Social Action.
Right.
John Foster Dulles set up not only the national but the World Council of Churches. He was a founding member with his brother of the Council on Foreign Relations and the whole push towards world government. The Unitarians, William Howard Taft was the head of the Unitarian Association. He's a member of Skull and Bones, and when I traveled through the 80s back and forth to D.C. and New Hampshire and other places, I'd usually attend a Unitarian church meeting just to see what they're up to. And in those places, I could find the Communist People's World and the Worker and everything else.
If I get to go to a church, and last time I had actually an invitation, I'll do it, by the way, by video link anywhere, free. I won't charge you a cent, and I'll try to raise money to support like the homeless or the sick or whatever, or veterans, for example, or veterans that are already a lot of time living near poverty or at poverty. What I want people to understand is I would love to invite to go to hundreds of churches and send a video link so I can post up a video to your church. And then give you, I call spiritual what for from an apostle prophet, Deagle, okay? The descendant of Moshe. And I don't do it because I'm mean. I'm doing it because I want to save your butt. I'm here like a firefighter with a Scott air pack on trying to pull out a burning building. The burning building is a spiritual building of your church that's going to give you spiritual smoke inhalation. And and even when you support Donald Trump, if we don't rebuke Trump and get him to smarten up, I hear all these people on Fox, oh, he's so great, and then they have all the veterans don't disabuse the national anthem. Yeah, I don't want you to disabuse the national anthem. But you want to realize the reason why America is exceptional is three things. Number one, God is first. Trump even says that. We are willing to die for the truth. That's good. Okay, number three, we stop doing evil around the world. America has done more evil than any other nation in the last, say, 70, 80 years. Following on the trails of Britain, the Eighth Empire, we talked about with the book the video by Ken Klein, which, by the way, is free now if you go to links for KenKleinProductions.net.
Right. A lot of the moans and groans about by the so-called progressives is accurate. They've just been given the solution they've been given is by the same evil people that created the chaos.
Well, they give them the poison pill as their solution. The young people, if we just had socialism, we wouldn't have giant debt going forward, so we would be able to move out of mom and dad's home, or we could buy a car and start a family. Yeah. Do you think?
But they're taught that the monopolies and the multinationals is capitalism. It's not, because those are subsidized by the governments that they control and the
I'll give you an example.
They control.
I'll give you a solution to each of these problems. People say, "Well, Deagle, do you have a solution?" I have a solution to everything. I want you to ask in this last segment here as we're approaching it. Okay, if you ask me a tough question, I can give you either an immediate answer or break the problem down. For example, if we made all the data for Google, Facebook, and Twitter and so on public, so anybody, one guy, computer guy, or a smart guy in his bedroom can go in and hack that data and to be able to sell stuff or do things or get information out there, it would put an end to it. We could also make these people liable, just like any magazine or publisher saying something about somebody that could be sued. It would put an end to the foolishness of Google and Facebook running the world. It would also make sure we wouldn't be forced to take the mark of the beast, which is coming, by the way. When they collapse the world economy, if you don't think they're going to have, as I use the sarcasm, a mandatory Velcro law, where you have to have a cell phone with a tracker chip in the cell phone attached to your body by Velcro, people need to get it, okay? You're out there damn well going to get it now or at the judgment seat, but you're going to get it from Deagle. We're so close, and even with Donald Trump, the man is racing forward, and everybody loves him in these giant stadiums. Yeah, he's a good guy, but guess what? He's not God's servant yet. He does some things right. He's great for the economy. He's great for negotiating. But he's not telling, for example, Xi, you got to stop this maniac testing off missiles and so on in Korea, because I guarantee you Russia and China are saying to Mr. Kim over in North Korea, don't you dare make a deal with Donald Trump until we get the trade deal we want. We steal their technology and AI. We get nuclear missiles on America, or we knock out their power grid, so America has been basically castrated. People don't get this, do they? We're playing for keeps right now, and Donald Trump, unless he gets advice from people like me and you, he's going to screw up.
Well, people are playing with the created Legos by the manufacturer with the various colors, and are given various little blueprints that they can click what's in front of them. They don't know that they can create and design and be the captain of their own destiny.
If I could get a half hour a week with you and me and say John W. Spring on missile defense and Jonathan Gray and people like Ken Klein, a half hour a week talking to Trump, mano a mano, on a video link, the man would start to get not only a spiritual heart, he'd get a clue. And he'd be better than any president in history, but he needs to have us be his Samuel counsel. God help us if we don't get that wisdom through this man, because although the demon rats are going to destroy us immediately, Trump is just going to delay it. He's a distraction right now. He's not going to stop us from being destroyed. He's just going to delay the annihilation unless we wise him up.
Yeah, right? People, be sure and inform your family and your friends. Take a look at news-expose.com for some of the background of what we talked about today. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank God for your program, Doc.
Thank you. Be out there and say, praise the Lord for the truth and ability to do this, to save you from physical destruction of your health and geopolitical, spiritual destruction.
Which is most important, because that was your